guys, it's Nikki here, and if you're thinking, are you wearing the exact same outfit that you were wearing in the previous spoiler-free review for Harry Potter? The answer is yes, I am, because I'm bulk filming today because I shockingly have less time to do things than I did when I could leave the house. So, we're here today to do the spoiler review for Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. As it's the last video, if you watched it, I have the beautiful edition that I borrowed from my mother. I love this edition that she got. The editions she got, they just have the most gorgeous covers. I'm in love with them. So we're at the fourth book, yay! And it's just, this is one of my favorite books in the series. I really enjoy, I immensely enjoy this one, with the exception of a few characters, Ron. The reason I like it so much is it's the best, kind of the first big world expansion for the Wizarding World that J.K. Rowling is setting up, as well as it's the first real sense that you get about the evil that the Death Eaters and Voldemort really had. And just like the chokehold of fear that they have over the Wizarding World, just based on everybody's response to their appearance and to just the general threat of their appearance. So I'll move into my likes and dislikes here. My first like is kind of the champions and the way they interact. So Harry, Cedric, Fleur, and Krum. And I love the way they interact. I love, especially with Cedric, Fleur, and Krum, just the way they look like they're going to fulfill certain stereotypes, but then they just break out of the mold. Like, you look at Fleur and you think she's an untouchable beauty, but she's actually incredibly intelligent, super powerful, and just has this ride or die attitude for her sister. And it's absolutely touching. Or Krum, you think he's going to be this cold, standoffish, celebrity, and he's actually just shy and athletic. And the way Cedric is, you think he's going to be the typical Hufflepuff. He's hardworking and has tons of perseverance and is incredibly intelligent and powerful and just a really good person. And just the way they break out of those stereotypes set for them based on the stereotypes of their appearance and their backgrounds, I just adore it. I think it's brilliant. My second like here, which if you saw the spoiler-free one will not surprise you, it is Harry. I thought this was a really good book for him. I love the I don't want to die, so I'm going to work really hard attitude he had. I loved the way he interacted with the champions, the way he interacts with Hermione, and the general respect he has for Krum and Fleur and Cedric. And the fact that one of my favorite things is the way he reacts to Fleur the first time he's taken aback at how beautiful she is. But then every interaction after that, he views her as a competitor. And I love the way it was just like, yes, she's beautiful. And then he just didn't let himself get distracted by it because he saw her as a clear and direct rival. And I loved that. And then my final like I'm going to talk about here is the pacing. I found the pacing amazing in this story. You don't dwell on anything. Nothing's too quick, and it's just the right amount of pages to tell the full story, and never did I feel like it was rushed or dragging. It was just, I loved it. And then I get into my dislikes, and the first one is Ron. And I get that he's jealous because Harry's always famous, and it's just, mostly it doesn't bug him, but this is like a different kind of celebrity because, somebody's not trying to kill him, Ron. And have you talked to your friend for 5 goddamn minutes? Because he does not want this. He never wanted it. He was super cool watching someone else possibly die for once. Seriously, why are you being like this, Ron? And, okay. That was how I reacted every time I read the parts where Ron and Harry were fighting, and I'm going to move on because I could go on for hours about how angry that made me. So, I'm going to move on to my next negative, which is the pensieve scene. I mentioned it in the spoiler-free one as well. I didn't care for the convenience and just like I just find it really confusing. Like, how does taking memories out like that not damage your memory? And it's just, why are you holding them like this? Because you talk about, No, like, you need to be responsible for your actions, and I think you need to be able to feel guilt and upset over these memories so you become a better person. You don't need to just take them out because then you can function rationally. Like, that's not the human experience. The whole general, like, overly convenient way to not necessarily info dump, but kind of info dump on us is just, it could have been a conversation with Dumbledore rather than that. I wasn't crazy about it for like logistical and convenience reasons. And my final negative is why Harry was allowed to compete anyways. This is like more like a tangent than a dislike, but it's just, how is it his name coming out of there, the binding part? Isn't it, because Harry didn't agree to a contract. Someone else agreed to a contract. Shouldn't they be held? Shouldn't they be bound to fulfill it, not Harry? Like, I don't understand, and it just makes me mad. And why didn't you recognize that it was too dangerous for a 14-year-old? Dumbledore, why did you let a child who doesn't know enough magic to survive most of these things? Because really, Harry, with the exception of accuing the broom, like, everything else was him studying shit way beyond what he should have been doing as a 14-year-old Hogwarts student, as a fourth-year Hogwarts student. I mean, come on. Why would you... I've talked about this before. The Wizarding World and Harry Potter is not child-friendly, and this is a very good example of that. And now we'll move on to the characters. So there's Harry, who I raved about already. There's Ron, who I kind of ranted about already. There's Hermione, who is just the epitome of good friend. She was supportive. She was helpful. She was just like... She was everything Ron should have also been in this situation. I loved the way she played out this book. She gets a lot of love. She deserves a lot of love for it. I also mentioned in my likes the side characters, specifically the other champions. I loved Fleur, Crumb, and Cedric, and what they did in the story, their actions, and the rules they broke. And as a side note, I really enjoyed Fred and George in this book. They don't have main scenes in this book. However, I just loved the little side plot of them trying to get money from Ludo Bagman to open a joke shop. It was just, it's a setup for such an integral part of their character and of their story overall that I loved it. It was such a nice little like tension breaker, getting to see them and trying to imagine these two jokesters doing that. And that's all I really have to say about the book, and I know I said a lot. So again, this is one of my favorite books to read. It's the first one after the first book that I really am excited to read again. It sets up a ton. J.K. Rowling did a great job with the character work, and just overall this was a really, really good experience. I rate this book as a 4 out of 5 stars for those reasons and all the positives and negatives I've mentioned already. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.